Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Cowl. Today, as you've seen on the title screen, we are making this double strand pairs for this twisted rope effect. And I have a sample here to show you of when I had a practice, and it is such a lovely design. I love it. If you've made the first cable stitch with me, the twisted rope with the vertical bars, this is sort of the next step up for how complex the design is. So it's actually not too complicated. It might look complicated because you're sort of going over and under and around, but actually it's really not that complicated at all. The first few rows, I think it's the first 3 rows, basically set up for the cables, and then after that it's much more simple because you're working around the post stitches that you've already made, so it becomes a lot more simple. Okay, so if you find it a slight struggle for the first few rows, don't panic. I will take you through it step by step. If you find those first few rows a little tricky, then just persevere. If you need to undo it, rewind the video and have another try, then do that. It's absolutely fine. Just know that once you've done the first few rows, it will become more simple, okay? And you won't have to count quite so many stitches, and it'll all just be that little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to do this in white today, as I did my last one in white, and I'm going to use this regular DK light worsted number 3 yarn and a 4.5mm hook, and this makes my work about 11 inches. Some people, this might make a 12-inch square, it might be slightly smaller. If you consistently use the same yarn and same hook for all of these cable stitches, then it will come out at approximately the same size each time. So that is what we're doing. So grab your hook and yarn and maybe a cup of tea, and let's get started. Okay, so the first 2 rows are nice and simple. You want to chain 46, and then we're going to make a row of half double crochets. Now, if you know how to do the chainless foundation stitch of half double crochet, then you can go straight ahead and make 45 half double crochets if you wish to. If not, then chain 46 and then meet me back. Okay, so I have a chain of 46, and then I'm going to work into the second chain from the hook and make a half double crochet. Now I like to work into the back bump to leave the front of the chain nice and neat. The first one is always the most tricky to get into, so when you're working in the back bump. So let me just bring that up, there we go. Okay, so half double crochet in the first stitch, in the second chain, and then a half double crochet in every chain along, and you will have 45 stitches at the end. That chain 1 doesn't count as anything, so 45 half double crochets by the end of the row. And I'll see you after 45 half double crochets. Okay, when you have 45 half double crochets, you are going to chain 1, turn your work. That chain 1 doesn't count as anything on any row that we do. Okay, and then you're going to go into the first stitch and do a half double crochet, and then a half double crochet all the way along. So another row of 45 half double crochets. Okay, make sure that you do have the right stitch count. If not, then when we do our cables, it will all be a bit off. So just make sure you've got 45 exactly, and then do this next row of half double crochets. And then we get into the slightly more interesting stitches of doing those cables. Okay, so pause the video and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, here we go. I have 2 rows of half double crochet now, and so this is our first row now to set up for the cable stitches. So what you're going to do is chain 1, turn your work around, and then do a half double crochet in that first stitch. And then we are going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. And we are now going to do a front post treble crochet. So I have done a video showing you about doing front post and back post stitches. There is a link in the description below and possibly one on screen at some point now. If you aren't sure how to do those stitches, then go and have a look at that video and then come back and join us here. I will briefly show you how to do that anyway right now. So we're going to do a front post treble crochet around each of the next 2 stitches that is 2 rows below, so on row 1. So we've done 2 stitches here, so it will be the 3rd stitch below, so 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do a front post treble crochet. So yarn over twice and go around that stitch, bringing it to the front, okay, bringing it to the front and doing your front post treble crochet like so. And then the next stitch to that one, we're going to do another front post treble. So right next to the one you've just done, do another. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. So that's the next stitch on this row that we've just made. So you will need to skip 2 stitches behind. If you're not sure which is the next stitch along, you lay your stitches nice and flat, and then you can see that it's this next stitch here. Or if you're not completely sure, have a look at the back, skip 2 stitches because we don't work into the ones that we've done the post stitches for. So we've done these in front of these 2 stitches behind, okay? So just double check that you are skipping 2 stitches behind and then do a half double crochet in the next. And that's the most important thing, to make sure you are skipping the right amount of stitches behind your post stitches, okay? If not, it will put your stitch count out. So half double crochet in that stitch. And then we're going to do that again. Front post treble on the stitches below. So skip 1 stitch next to, look at your first row where you did these post stitches. You want to skip the stitch next to the last post, which is for this half double crochet up here, and then do your front post treble around the next stitch, okay? And then a front post treble around the next half double crochet on that bottom row, okay, like so. And again a half double crochet in the next stitch along. So either have a look at which is the next stitch, or if you're not completely sure, have a look behind, skip 2 stitches and do it in the next. There we go. And then we're going to do that again. So we're doing this 4 times all together. So front post treble crochet around the second one along at the bottom, so skip 1 and the next one. So skipping that one at the bottom, and a front post treble around the next half double crochet, okay. So between each of these you should have 1 skipped half double crochet. So you've got 2 front post and a skipped, 2 front post, a skipped, 2 front post. And then we're going to do another half double crochet in the next stitch along. So remember, skip 2 stitches from behind and go into the next one along. And we're back to the bottom. We've got our 4th set of 2 to do. So skip the next half double crochet at the bottom and do a front post treble around the next. And around the next, a front post treble. Okay, and a half double crochet in the next stitch along. Have a look, skip 2 stitches and do it in the next stitch. And there we go. That was our 4 repeats of doing those post stitches. So you should have, just to check, you should have at the bottom row, you should have 2 half double crochets and then 2 post stitches, 1 half double crochet, 2 post, half double crochet, 2 post, half double crochet, 2 post. And at the top row you should have the same. You should have 2 half double crochet, 2 post, 1 half, 2 post, 1 half, 2 post, 1 half, 2 post, and 1 half. And that is where you should be at the moment. Okay, so the next step is to do 2 half double crochets along. So we've got 1 here that we've just done, and you want to do 2 more. 2 more half double crochet. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to do our next repeat, like so. Okay, so we are going to start with another half double crochet. So we will have 4 in total. Okay, and then we're going to do some more of these front post trebles. We're going to do another set of 4 sets of 2 with 1 in between. Okay, so we are going to look below, and you want to skip 4 half double crochets below. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the 5th one, and that's because we've got 4 at the top here, in the 5th one you want to do a front post treble crochet, and around the next one a front post treble crochet, and then a half double crochet in the next stitch at the top. If you need to, have a look behind and skip 2 stitches. Okay, and then below skip a stitch and do a front post treble, and a second front post treble, and a half double crochet on the top row, and then back down the bottom, skip a stitch and 2 front post treble crochets. And a half double crochet on the top row, remembering to skip 2 stitches, and then we've got our last set of 2 front posts. So skip a stitch at the bottom and then 2 front post treble crochets along. Okay, and a half double crochet in the next stitch at the top, checking that you're skipping 2 stitches. And there we go, there's our second set of 4 front post treble crochet. There we go. Okay, so to continue along, we are now going to do 2 more half double crochets along the top row. 2 half double crochet, there we go, and then we're going to start our repeat a final time. So let's run through that together. If you need to do it slightly slower than I'm doing, not that I'm going mega fast, but if you need to slow it down a little, then just pause the video and catch up, or there is a function somewhere at the top or bottom where you can slow the speed down, but I will sound like I'm very sleepy and talking very slowly. So here we go, a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then skip 4 stitches on the bottom row, 1, 2, 3, 4, and make 2 front post treble crochets. And a half double crochet on the top row. Skip a stitch at the bottom and 2 more front post treble crochets. Half double crochet on the top row. Skip a stitch at the bottom and 2 front post treble crochets. Okay, a half double crochet on the top row, skip a stitch at the bottom and make 2 front post treble crochets. And a half double crochet in the next stitch at the top. And 1 half double crochet to finish in the last stitch. And there we go, that's row 3 finished. So you should have 3 sets of those front post treble crochets. Looking good already. Okay, row 4 is simples. If you turn your work around, you will notice that you have some stitches here that have not been worked into. Okay, 2 stitches and then another 2 and then another 2, and they are the stitches we skipped when we did the front post treble crochets. Okay, so what you're going to do is chain 1. We're going to half double crochet into every stitch along, so that might be into your half double crochets, or it might be into the top of your front post treble crochets. Now the front post treble crochets may be a little bigger in the stitches, and that's absolutely fine. Just work into them as usual. So you can see my 2 here are a little bigger, and that's absolutely fine. Just work into them as usual. Just ignore those stitches below that you've skipped. Just look at the very top row, and you're going to have 45 stitches. Every row will have a total of 45 stitches, so you might want to just count and make doubly sure that you are doing 45 stitches, especially on this half double crochet row, just to make sure that you are starting with the right stitch count. So I will see you at the end of this row. Okay, row 5, this is where it gets really interesting, so you might just need to concentrate a little more on this row, but once you've kind of got used to how we're doing this, it becomes a lot easier. Okay, so chain 1, turn your work and make a half double crochet in that first stitch. Okay, and a half double crochet in the next stitch. So that's 2 half double crochets. And now what we're going to do this 3 times. So for each set of these 8 front posts, we're going to do it for each set. Okay, so what we're going to do is skip 3 stitches, and then we're going to do a front post double treble around these second set of 2. So skip the first 2 front posts, and we're going to do it around these next 2 front posts. And this is where it becomes easier, that you don't have to count all the stitches at the bottom, because these post stitches are already here, and we're always going to make the post stitches around post stitches, so it becomes much easier. So what we're going to do is do a front post double treble around these 2 stitches. So double treble is a yarn over 3 times. Okay, so you have 4 loops on the hook. Go under that stitch and through, and then just complete your stitch as you usually would. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, yarn over 3 times, go under this next post stitch and make your front post double treble. Okay, there we go. And then we are going to go behind these post stitches, and we're going to make a half double crochet in the last skipped half double crochet. So we've skipped 3 stitches behind here. If I bring this in, hopefully the camera will pick it up. I've got 3 stitches here that I've skipped, so you want to go into this 3rd stitch along. Now you can either pull this forward and then look and find your 3rd stitch that you've skipped, or you can look from the front, do your yarn over ready, and I'd like to do it from the front, and I look and I go 1, 2, 3, and then I pop that hook behind. Okay, so I'm putting the hook behind and then go into that 3rd stitch, because I like to see it from the front so it's not distorted from looking at the back, okay? And then do your half double crochet into that skipped stitch, working behind, okay? And now we're going to do some post double trebles around these two, and we're going to go behind these stitches, okay? So this can be a bit tricky, but I'll show you. Okay, so you want to yarn over 3 times for a double treble, and then you're going to pop your hook under these stitches and want to go around the very first post stitch of the row, the very first post stitch, okay, like so. Pull these down slightly and show your hook like so, okay, so you can see your hook there, and then complete your stitch as usual. Okay, I will show you that again. You just complete your stitch as usual, and then we're going to do that around the second post stitch here. So again, yarn over 3 times, go under these stitches, under that post stitch, okay, pull these stitches down so you can see your hook, and then complete your stitch. Okay, and then just make sure these stitches are back in place. Hold your hook over this side and you can see where these stitches are going from underneath across in the other direction, making it look like this sort of rope working up this way and this way, okay? That is how you do the stitches behind. Okay, we're now going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch on our top row. Make sure you're leaving 2 stitches unworked on the top row to account for your 2 post stitches here. So just double check that you're leaving 2. So 1, 2, and working into the next one along. And do a half double crochet. And then we're going to repeat what we've just done, kind of. So we're going to do a front post treble crochet, a front post double treble around these second set of 2. So skip this next set of front post, we've got 2 front post stitches there, skip those, and around the next 2 we're going to do front post double treble. So yarn over 3 times, go under that first one and complete your stitch, and a front post double treble around the second front post there. Okay, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in the last of the 3 skip stitches on the top row. So just as we did before, got 3 stitches here that we skipped, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do my half double crochet in the third one. There we go, behind, like so. And then this time when we do our front post double trebles onto these front posts here, we're going to go in front. So this one went behind, this one is much simpler in that we go in front. So yarn over 3 times, come across to the very first one of those 2 and under, and then complete your stitch. Much simpler, much simpler. Okay, and then do a front post double treble around the next front post. Like so. And that comes across the front just like so. As you can see, this one goes across to the right and this one comes across to the left. Looking good. Okay, so then we are going to do a half double crochet in the next 4 stitches on the top row, remembering to skip 2 stitches for the unworked stitches for our front posts. So skip 2 stitches behind, 1, 2, and do a half double crochet in the next, and then the next 3, so 4 altogether. Okay, there we go. This is what we have so far. Looking good. Now, if your stitches, your post stitches, seem to be a bit longer and taller than your half double crochets, you can change your half double crochets and make double crochets instead. Now mine's just because my tension was a bit loose there. You can see how big some of my stitches have gone. You can see this top part here. The stitches have gone a bit big and loose, but it will all work out on the next row. But if they are a lot bigger than your half double crochets, then change these half double crochets into doubles instead. Okay, so what you're going to do is repeat what we've done. So rewind the video. I will hopefully have a time marker on the screen in just a moment. Rewind the video and do this twice more for your next set of 4 pairs and then your next set of 4 pairs. Okay, and you will finish with just 2 half double crochets on the end. So repeat this twice more and you will have 2 more sets looking exactly the same here and here. Okay, and I will now pop a time marker on the screen of where you need to rewind to. Okay, there we go, at the end of row 5, and you can see now how you've got your 3 sets of those double stranded twists, and I love how it's looking. Love, love, love. It might be a bit tricky, especially those ones where you're going behind, but so worth it. So if I bring my other one in, the one that I made earlier, or last night actually, you can see how when we do a second set, you've got the twisting up and around like so. So this one's going over, up and under, and this one's going under, up and over. So it just looks so cool. I love it, love it, love it. So clever. So you've probably already guessed it, but the next row is a row of half double crochets. So chain 1 and turn your work around. Do a half double crochet in the first stitch and in every stitch along, and make sure that you have 45 stitches at the end of the row. Okay, so remember, some of your post stitches, your larger stitches, may have a bigger stitch at the top, just for the nature of how they're made. There are ways you can make them tighter. Personally, I still haven't quite mastered that. I did sort of show a couple of ideas on that video of making post stitches and tall stitches, but I still haven't mastered it really myself, so yeah. So continue along here and you'll see you've got sets of missed stitches again, but just ignore those, just carry on, 1 stitch in each, 45 half double crochets, and I will see you at the end of this row. And here's the back of that row that I've just done. Well, there's that row I've just done, and here's the front. There we go, looking lovely, lovely. So we're going to make our next set of these cables to make the next part of the twisting row, twisting rope, and we're going to start from row 3. 3, 4, 5 and 6 are our repeats. So I will take you through this and then leave you to continue repeating until your work becomes the right size. So, excuse me. So for row, well, this is row 7, but no, this is row 7, but actually row 3 that we're doing, if that makes sense. We're repeating row 3. So what we're going to do, chain 1, turn your work, half double crochet in the first stitch and in the second stitch. Okay, and then we are going to do a front post treble crochet around these first 2 front post double trebles. So a front post treble around the first one, and a front post treble around the next one. And then a half double crochet in the next stitch, remembering to skip 2 stitches from behind. And then front post treble around the next 2. So these are the ones that went underneath, okay? So around these next 2. Front post treble. There we go. And a half double crochet in the next stitch, remembering to skip 2 stitches. So remember, skip 2 stitches behind and a half double crochet in the next. And then we're going to do front post treble around the next 2 post stitches. Front post treble, yarn over twice. And the second post stitch, front post treble. And a half double crochet in the next stitch, skipping 2 stitches from behind. Just checking where they are because mine have got slightly distorted somehow. So this one here. There we go. Okay, and then a front post treble around the next 2 post stitches. And a half double crochet in the next stitch, remembering to skip 2 stitches. Okay, and then a half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And that is the first part of that row. That's the repeat. So you are going to repeat this along and do your first half double crochet and then front post treble around the next 2 stitches, and then do another half double front post around the next 2, and so on. So rewind this video about 4 minutes and repeat that until the end of the row. And there we go at the end of that row. So you can see how it's working up nicely now. Love it, love it. So you've got your sets of 4 pairs of front post stitches ready for your next set of cables. So for the next row you are going to do your half double crochets, so chain 1 and half double crochet back in every single stitch, and I'll see you when I've done that row. And there we go, there's our row of half double crochets. So here we go from the front. Love it, love it. Reminds me a bit of trees actually, this kind of texture and how it's working up. Anyway, let's move on to the next row. This is the last row of our 3-row repeat. No, it's not actually, because we're going to have another row of half double crochet. Huh. Who knew? Okay, so chain 1, turn your work around, make a half double crochet in the first 2 stitches. Okay, and then going to do a front post double treble around these second 2 front posts. So skip the first 2 and do a front post double treble. Remember that's 3 yarn overs, and we're going to do that around these next 2. So you can see how it's much easier now. You've got your post stitches all there ready to work around. So much easier. Okay, and a front post double treble around the second. Okay, and then we're going to work behind and do a half double crochet in the third half double crochet that we've skipped. So the third half double crochet, hook behind and into that third stitch. Half double crochet. Now remember, this is the trickiest part of all of our pattern, doing our front post double trebles behind these two here and into these two. So yarn over 3 times, hook behind those 2 post stitches, around the first, pull these down and see your hook, and then complete your stitch. Now there might be a slightly more simple way of bringing your hook down there to do these stitches behind, but this is the way that I find easiest. Okay, so yarn over 3 times, hook behind these 2 stitches, around the second post stitch there, bring those stitches down and finish your stitch as usual. And there you go. And then you're going to skip 2 stitches behind and do your half double crochet in the next stitch along. Okay, and then we're going to do a front post double treble around the next, sorry, we're going to skip these 2 front posts that are next, and we're going to do our front post double trebles around the next 2. So yarn over 3 times, go into that, or under that first one, and the second one. And then our half double crochet in the third stitch behind, so the third one behind. There we go. And the easier double treble this time over the top into the first post stitch around here. Over the top, always much easier. And around the second one there. And remember, you're going to skip 2 stitches behind. No, you're not. Yes, you are. Going to skip 2 stitches behind and work into the next stitch and make 4 half double crochets. I was reading the wrong part of the pattern when I said no, you don't. So make sure you're looking at the right part of the pattern if you're reading a pattern. So there we go. That's our first set of repeat. We've done our first ones here. So you can see how we've got, again, some going to the right and some going to the left. You can see how it looks like it's twisting. Love it. So that's the main thing to remember, that your stitches go the opposite way to each other. Okay, so to the outsides. Okay, and there you go. So rewind this video 5 minutes and repeat what we did there, starting with the front post double treble onto the second set of 2. Okay, so you want to rewind about 5 minutes and a half now and do your first set of double treble over here. And then repeat that all the way to the end, finishing with some half double crochet at the end. And I'll see you at the end of this row. And there we go. That's the end of my row. And I am loving it. Loving it. Gorgeous. So the next row that you will do is a row of half double crochet, chain 1 and do a half double crochet in every stitch along, and then you will rewind and start your repeat rows all again. You'll start with making your the upright half double the upright post stitches, so these ones that we have, these upright pairs. So rewind to that to continue making your rows. There will be a time marker in just a moment to tell you where to rewind to. And once you have done several rows, have a measure, and what you want to do is just see how wide your work is. So mine is about 11 and a half. So you want to work up to about 1/4 of an inch shorter than your width. This is if you want a square. Okay, now these squares come out roughly 12 inches if you continue, roughly 12 depending on your tension. Mine is about 11 and a half. So to make it square, work up to about 1/4 of an inch shorter than the width. So I will work up to 11 and a quarter inches. And then to finish, just to mimic this bottom, I know we did a half double crochet here, but because we have our post stitches, we will do a single crochet row at the top. Okay, so finish with a single crochet row at the very top. Doesn't matter what row you finish on, doesn't matter what part of the twist you finish on, just finish with a row of single crochet. And that is all you need to do. So rewind the video back to the marker that I'm going to put on screen now. Okay, so I have finished my row off with a row of single crochet, and you can see how it's looking very similar to the bottom there. And you can see actually, oops, I missed a half double crochet off the end. Oops. This is only my sort of sample swatch, so I won't worry about that stitch there. So that is how it will look. And now you can make this as tall or as wide as you like. I said about finishing off with a row of single crochet once you get up to 1/4 of an inch shorter than the width. But you could just keep going and making this longer and longer. You can make a blanket or whatever you want to make with it, really. And let me just have a look at the stitch count for repeats. So if you wanted to make this wider and make a blanket and make it a lot wider, then you want to do multiples of 15. Okay, so we've had 45, so multiples of 15. So yeah, we had 45, so you could do 90, 130, no, 90, 120, and I'm not even going to try and do the maths for the rest because my brain's going, all you want to do is when you do your initial chain is add an extra chain and then start in the second chain from the hook and do your first half double crochet. And that is that. So 15 stitches of multiples, and you could do whatever you like with it then, blanket, or you could take off some of this and make it into a scarf, make a very thick warm scarf, whatever you fancy doing with that. So that is our beautiful stitch for today. Let me just bring the white one in. I didn't finish a row on here with a single crochet because I'm going to make this up into a square. I just don't have time to do that on video for the video today. But I am going to make it up into a square to match the twisted rope that I did the other day. And there we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I hope you found this useful and helpful and you've enjoyed making this cable stitch with me today. If you have, then I would love to see what you've made in the Facebook group. The link for that is below. Pop your photos there, or on Instagram, #BeyondTheCal. That would be great. If you found this video useful and helpful, then please click the like button, give us a thumbs up, it is much appreciated. And there will be another video out for, well, another cable video out on Monday, Sunday night, Monday morning, depending on where you are. And there will be one of our regular stitch videos out soon. So keep watching, and until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.